I'm very happy to have him up on stage right now. It's Clint Catalyst, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm actually really glad you didn't do a bio, because like when I heard you read the first one off, I was like, I didn't send him a bio.
I know.
And
follow the rules. I never follow the rules.
Yeah, I do. I'm here right now. I'm following the rules. My order, number 4. Here we go.
See how it goes. Let's see. Here we go.
Alright. As far as therapy goes, I'm no stranger to the sliding scale. San Francisco's the first place I encountered this term. A well-greased PC notion popular at life-affirming art events where no one is turned away for lack of funds, as if people's tax returns are inspected at the door instead of their IDs. Matter of fact, I'm in my 9th week of a 12-week-long sliding scale grief recovery therapy program as I write this. For 2 hours every Sunday night, I pay $10, if that's any indication where I fall, or have fallen, on the tax bracket, but I won't go into any of that now. My current stint at sliding scale head shrinking is actually a positive one, which, like unicorns and Holly Hobby, proves shit for storytelling. I'll stick to the humor and horror here. It's much more interesting subject matter. So anyway, like I told you, I was living in San Francisco, the term living being used loosely. The skies over Clint were ripped and torn as if my name were Gargamel. You know, the dude from the Smurfs lore who's surrounded by black clouds. I decided I needed some professional help to shoo away the shadows. Don't do it, said B, one of my sources who'd recently acquired some sort of esoteric finishing touch for his product during a 3-week vacay in the state pen. Whatever it was involved him using my microwave, though I wasn't allowed to watch. Those guys are all quacks. Chemical camaraderie, even that between pusher and speed freak, is based on proximity, chance, and need. B was a nice enough guy, but could I really heed words of advice from a man whose name was not a word, but an initial? Rhetorical questions much? It was one of those Arctic Bay summer days when I picked out a shrink from the Yellow Pages, Dr. Copeland, of the Income Contingent Therapy Program. Had his picture been in the ad, the way realtors do, I doubt I would have dialed him. As it were, I did. Wednesdays were deemed our day, Wednesday being midweek for my midlife crisis at age 26. Psychiatrists, I've discovered, are often situated in a maze of offices. There's all this attention taken to assure the patients miss each other, coming and going, a buzz here, a separate doorway there. At Dr. Copeland's, this was not the story. He shared a common area with other doctors, and while I never was early enough, or even on time, to twiddle my thumbs in it, I can tell you that the walls in the waiting room seemed to be made of styrofoam. There was artificial greenery backdropped by low eye strain off-whites, beiges, and grays. Dr. Copeland, however, was all too real. Hello, greeted this thick, bespectacled man with a treacherous mustache and oversized yellow teeth. His skin reminded me of tree bark. Behind closed doors, he got down to business. So, he opened, how are you feeling? That life isn't as good as it used to be? No, I said, because it didn't used to be good. At this, he arched an eyebrow. Really now? And why is that? I felt my facial muscles contract. This is only an hour session, right? 50 minutes, I agreed. I know, I'm not new to all this. Believe me, there's no way we can embark upon that glacial striptease in the allotted time. At this, both Dr. Copeland's eyebrows rose above sea level. We probably should stick to more immediate needs, I said in response to his stare. Which are suicidal depression. I told him I'd lost the desire to do anything, had uncontrollable feelings of guilt and worthlessness, often sat in the dark for interminable lengths of time, couldn't get from beneath the covers, you know, typical intake pamphlet, self-assessment stuff, which was not untrue. By this juncture, it took me half a gram to get out of bed. So you're feeling that you don't trust yourself? Nod of agreement. And what about illicit drugs? I heard my eyelids meet in a blink. Beep, beep. Do you partake? Do I partake? I am illicit drugs, I thought. If you slit my wrists and made punch, we could give the Jim Jones party a run for the proverbial pesos. But instead, I said, no, not really. Not really, he repeated, pen scribbling on canary yellow legal pad, except that my really was the standard 2 syllables, I'm pretty sure. So you've never taken illicit drugs, say, daily? I studied the hair on his knuckles and decided it was long enough to braid. Cornrow, even. Oh no, I mouthed this knockoff dog. What was he thinking? I'd tell him the truth? As if I even knew what that was anymore. After years of injecting myself with a lie. Besides, I didn't want to talk about drugs. I wanted to deal with issues. Uncover that hidden childhood event at the root of this madness. Give me the epiphany of an, oh, sprout a rainbow from my behind. Let's talk about your sexuality. Are you playing things safe? Yeah. How safe? He prodded. KY fisted, masturbate myself into a frenzy safe? His face became vaguely challenging. But you have, of course, had partners. Of course. Multiple ones? Of course. Ever at the same time? Of course. Really? He nodded. Tell me about those. I filled in the blanks the same way he filled in his sentences, and at session's end he gave me a reward. Sample packs of Prozac, proper name fluoxetine hydrochloride, which I lugged home in a shiny plastic shopping bag. It was going to be my salvation, I decided. Sometimes I got high and researched how bad getting high was for me. From this, I knew that methamphetamine was obliterating serotonin, and Prozac increased the brain supply of serotonin. The way I saw it, fluoxetine meant I could even things out. Dr. Copeland gave me sample packs, which I lugged home by the plastic bag full. What a bargain. I started out popping 20 milligrams per day, and as usual, my mind leaped ahead. I can be a functioning addict again, the voice in my skull told me. Thanks to the miracles of modern chemistry, I can even be happy. Better yet, I can even kick drugs. Yes, my inner voice sounds like an infomercial at times, if you have to know. But also true to infomercial form, why wasn't the miracle product working? Within 2 weeks, Dr. Copeland doubled my dosage to 40 milligrams. I hit 60 within 3. Even the searing sense of euphoria I got from a shot of glass was gone. I could get awake, but not high, which allowed me countless hours to contemplate how unfortunate my existence was. And as far as therapy goes, isn't it against the rules for shrinks to take telephone calls during a session? Dr. Copeland didn't seem to get the memo. He just picked right up, scribble in his daybook, and meander back to the same questions again. And when I say same questions, I do mean over, and over, and over. So tell me. He stroked his chin, thinking, or pretending to. Exactly what did you get from these multi-partnered affairs? What did I get from it? He had to be putting me on. An orgasm on a good day? And on a bad day? A consolation prize? Titty lube? A pocket pecker? Season passes to the World Wrestling Federation? I just love a snappy dresser who isn't afraid to express his emotions. Dr. Copeland, with his steady, unblinking eyes the color of fecal matter, was in desperate need of appreciation of irony. Not only that, I couldn't help but think that the old geezer seemed to be getting off on it, spittle trapped in this vulgar stash. So you've been with females? He asked. Yeah. And she-males. No hermaphrodites yet, but I still dare to dream, I quipped. My tolerance was waning. Clint, I'm sensing some hostility here. Do you think this stems from your sexuality? What do I think? I think this chump mail-ordered his PhD, that's what I think, I thought. Next Wednesday I ditched because my roommate was conked out in a crack-off coma, and I was too shaky and sweaty to hit a vein myself. Plus, I looked like the before poster for a miracle makeover. My complexion total melting wax doll, my eyes hollow, my hair don't, to say the least, thirsty. What I mistook for toothpaste residue caked in the corners of my mouth was actually crust from dehydration. I called and got the answering machine. Fuck him for picking up during my 50-minute slot. He didn't return the message, but when I flaked the following week, I listened as he spoke into mine. I'm sorry to hear that you've had problems with your migraines, but I remind you that, of course, you are still responsible for the cost of both sessions. Had he told me this in the beginning? There is a minimum 24-hour notice required for cost-free canceled sessions. Please tend to this matter at your earliest convenience. If there ever were anyone who could sound like a form letter, it's Dr. Copeland. Plus he was reading off one. Perhaps, anyway, the script. Whatever the story, within a few days a bill arrived for both sessions. $80. The same cost as a gram of crystal meth. My solution was to crumple it up and call a dealer. I couldn't feel the Prozac and was getting evicted at the end of the month anyway. No forwarding address, my name not on the new lease. Just rewind that VCR tape called my life and press record. I was starting over.